Good evening, race fans, and welcome back as we get ready to light the fire here for the Spec Miata Series at Road Atlanta. It's round 3, and it's a doubleheader once more. Two 15-minute sprint races for our competitors to get things going, as it will be Alex Penn and Gareth McAllister starting on the front row. Thor Tulo, Timothy West, your second row. Gary Wolbott and Nick Monty, your third row. Juan Gonzalez and Josh Soto will round out the field here today. No, we've got Joseph Penn and the number 24 machine. He's out on track as well. Let's see what these drivers can do out here today. Again, it is a 15-minute race. No fast repairs, and drivers should not have to come down pit road barring some sort of off-track excursion. So let's see what Penn and the road racing phenomenon can do, as well as the world-famous Australian Gareth McAllister and the number 25 machine starting up front. Couple new guys. You've got Tulo, Wolbott, Monty coming out for the very first time, as well as Josh Soto. New entries here to the Spec Miata Series, a free-to-join series sponsored by Diamond CBD. Well, it looks like a little bit of contact going on there towards the back. Not sure if somebody maybe had a checkup into turn 7. That was Soto and possibly, I think, Gary Wolbott that may have got into each other there. Now, this is half as exciting as the real-life IMSA counterpart. We are in for a treat here today. 9 drivers making their way out. Gregory Ford and Gene Richard did not start, so it appears unable to make it to pit road in time. It'll be interesting to see if they join as a late entry. And the pace car will come in as they go underneath the bridge here at Road Atlanta. And away we go. The green flag flies. They are off. It's Alex Penn, Gareth McAllister up front, and already they're bobbing and weaving for a position. You've got Timothy West running 5th. He's gotten passed by Nick Monty, who had an absolute massive drive in the number 48 machine. Pushes way too hard and goes off track in turn 1. That will allow McAllister, Penn, Tulo to take the top 3. Soto's moved up to 4th. West still 5th. A little bit of contact there between, I believe that's going to be Alex Penn. I'm not quite sure who the other may be. Alex Penn running 2nd just behind Gareth McAllister, the Aussie. Thor Tulo, number 27 machine, holding on to 3rd place. And we've got something going on with our overlay here. It's not scoring somebody. Trying to figure out who that may be. You've got Gareth McAllister out front. Alex Penn shows in 2nd. But I believe that's Soto. Interesting. Not sure what's happening here. Penn shows in 2nd, although Tulo is in front of him in the number 27 machine. Here we go for the race lead. McAllister trying to hold on to it, but here comes Tulo, and the number 27 machine takes a peek at the inside line in 10A and 10B. Doesn't make it happen. Meanwhile, you've still got Alex Penn in the fight of his life. That is with Soto in the 07 machine, wicking it around turn 12 here. Road Atlanta. McAllister clicks off the fastest lap of the race. And still some great racing going on here. McAllister holding on to the race lead, but he's got a lot of talented drivers right behind him. Tulo and Soto wicking up through the field here. As we try and get our timing updated. man, oh man, they are racing hard for the lead. A three-way battle between McAllister, Soto, and Tulo. Alex Pins joined the fray as well to make it a four-car rodeo. Soto looks up the inside line to try and squeeze past McAllister. And right behind them, they've got Tulo and Penn trying to go too wide as well down the backstretch here at Road Atlanta. Who will be the first driver to yield? Tulo backs out of it going into turn 10A. McAllister and Soto still side by side here. Oh, and there's a little bit of bumping and grinding as Soto goes off track, holds onto it, coming back up through turn 12 or just before turn 12. That will have him dropping down the standings now back to 5th. Jimothy West has moved up to 4th. And somehow Alex Penn has taken over the race lead. 3.5 minutes into the 15-minute first race of the day, and things are out of control. Jimothy West clicks off the fastest lap of the race on 1:37.52, using that massive draft ahead of him to his advantage. Alex Penn leads the field through the S's. Tulo in hot pursuit. McAllister still third. West now fourth, but he's got Soto right behind him in fifth, and we know Soto has been fast throughout the duration of this run before that contact into turn 12. We're going to pan the camera back to Soto as he makes a wild outside pass. Attempted pass through turn 5. Yes, he's going to get himself cleared going into 6 here. So Soto will put himself just ahead of West once more, taking over the 4th place spot. Up front, it's still the Penn, Tulo, McAllister show. Nick Monty, he's coming back through the field as well, the number 48 machine. He was out front in turn 1 before he pushed too hard, too aggressively, and sent himself off track in a wild 4x4 display of Miata skills. Oh, here we go. Tulo taking a look at the inside line against McAllister. Penn on the outside line. No, it's McAllister. McAllister goes off track, comes back on, and gets into McAllister. No, gets into Alex Penn. Alex Penn, the number 30 Elmo, back to Miata. He's got to take a tow back to pit road. So that will shake up the standings once more. Tulo's out front, McAllister second, Soto third, West fourth. Nick Monty's moved up to 5th, and here comes Gary Walbot in the number 5 machine. He's worked his way back up to 6th, keeping his nose clean out here today. So now your top 3 drivers have about a 1.3 second advantage over the 4th and 5th place drivers of West and Monty. Tulo with a bit of a breakaway here. Soto trying to pressure the Aussie of Gareth McAllister into a mistake to pick up the 2nd place spot, but he's going to back up his entry into 7 to try and get the best run he possibly can, maybe pull a draft on that number 25 anime-backed Australian Miata McAllister. McAllister's going to stay tucked in behind Tulo. The top 3 running nose to tail. 4th, 5th, 6th have about a 1 to 2 car gap between them, and here we go once more. Tulo's going to work the outside line. We're going to go 3 wide into 10A once more. McAllister on the inside, Soto in the middle, Tulo on the outside. Tulo backs out of it to get a better run up the hill, and that will work well as McAllister cycles back to 3rd, and he'll now have pressure from West, who passes on the inside line coming underneath the bridge. West moves up to podium contention. Soto is now going to get a lap lead of the Spec Miata series. Monty also taking a shot at McAllister as well. Look at the inside line going into 1. Oh, this is some spectacular racing. Alex Penn is still in pit road, unable to get that machine mounted back onto the surface after that wild crash going into 10A. Soto still out front, Tulo running 2nd, West in 3rd. West probably has the most pressure here as he's got McAllister, Monty, and Walbut right behind him. Now these are Spec Miatas in the truest sense. Everybody's on the equal setup, same fuel, same tires. It is all about the connection between the seat and the steering wheel on who's going to be able to bring home the top spot. McAllister picks up the draft from West. West trying to stay in the draft of Tulo. Now West and McAllister in different series we've called in the past, they've been very close on pace. McAllister has usually been the quicker of the two, but both drivers of West and McAllister have faced problems with consistency in the past. McAllister tries to get a run coming out of turn 12. Are we going to get more side-by-side action? Mo East will hold on to his, West. Got my directions mixed up there. West holds on to it. McAllister looks through the inside line in turn 1. Now this, if McAllister can hold his pace here, should have him set up well going into the S's, but no, West holds on to it, coming out on top down the hill. This may slow the pace from third place back, as Soto and Tulo are extending their gap. Soto last time by clicked off the fastest lap of the race on 1:35.85. He is absolutely ablazing in that 07 machine. Let's see if the world famous Australian is going to be able to cycle his way up into a possible podium contention here. West knows if he can keep McAllister busy, he will have his hands full with Monty and Walbut as well. So a little bit of racecraft and strategy may come into play here, as Soto and Tulo are stretching the gap even further to the 3.55 of West. Now almost a 2-second disadvantage West has over the top two, heading down the backstretch here at Road Atlanta. Oh, we've got more problems going back here. I hear McAllister's involved in that one. Monty and Walbut also involved. I think Monty may have sent it just a little bit too hard there, as he really slows up to allow McAllister to get back into his position. Not wanting to give the position, or earn the position, I should say, through contact. So now Walbut will cycle up to 4th place in the number 5 car. He's trying to chase down that 2.5 disadvantage he has the Jimothy West. A lot of great racing here, Road Atlanta's. Oh, Gary grabs a whole lot of curve, getting ready to come into turn 5, gets all sorts of unsettled, keeps it off the outside wall. But that Miata absolutely pogoing its way around. Looks like he lost about 2 to 3 tenths there on West in 3rd place. Gonzalez has also pulled off while both Penn brothers are in pit road getting some repairs done. Tulo still running 2nd place. He's about 2.8 back from Soto and about 2.7 ahead of West. It'll be interesting to see what the lap times reflect this time by. Tulo about a second slower than Soto. West about a second slower than Tulo. And Gary, he is finding some time over the 3rd place driver of West. So let's see if there's any more racing here to go with the remaining 3 minutes. Now still plenty of time for drivers to make some sort of mistakes or errors, as we have definitely seen in the past, drivers throwing it away while running up front. looks to be that most drivers are running about the same pace. So not expecting to see any big moves unless Soto, Tulo, West have any problems in these closing laps at Atlanta, this 15-minute sprint race double format feature. Soto using all of the curbing and then some as he makes his way down under the bridge. And I've got to say, after recently running a car race here myself, the TV doesn't quite give you an idea of just how wild and exciting it is coming through turn 12 as well. There's a little bit of bump in the concrete on the left side that can really upset your car, and Soto clicks off another fastest lap of the race on 1:35.81. He is in a league of his own here today. Now we do have a little bit of racing going on. West now has Walbut right behind him. Heading up out of turn 1. This will be the battle for the third place spot. Gary doing whatever he can to track down the 355 machine. Oh, a little bit of smoke out of the tires from Walbut. Trying to carry as much pace as he possibly can, coming into turn 6 and 7, trying to pick up the draft with the 355 machine. Who will have the best drive out of turn 7 here? That backstretch so important in these low horsepower cars. Looks like Walbut was able to get through just a little bit smoother. He's caught the draft, now 7/10 off the back bumper of the 355 of West. Ooh, gaining time rapidly, just clicked off 2/10 faster, almost 3/10. He's caught the draft of the 355 machine. 30 seconds left to go before the checkered flies in this opening session. I think they may be doing another lap here. Let's see if Walbut can track down 355, losing about a half second through 10A and 10B. West able to flick it through just a little bit cleaner. And they will go another lap. Let's see if West can defend, still holding about a second gap over Walbut. And a little bit of cones in the way. I wonder if that's from Alex Penn, who has rejoined the surface, possibly with a damaged machine. Again, no fast repairs here today. If you find yourself with a little bit of damage, you're going to have to fix it the old-fashioned way. As we continue to watch to see what the battle for third does. Walbut still trying to track down West, 9/10 off the back bumper of the 355 machine. Flicking it through turn 6 and 7 here at Road Atlanta. West going to try and use the draft from lap traffic to put a little bit of space between himself and the number 5 of Gary Walbut. Walbut about 8/10 back. We've seen him gain about 4/10 using this draft at Road Atlanta, but that was without the traffic of West able to use their draft as well. West dragging the brakes a little bit earlier behind Alex Penn, not wanting to get tied up with traffic here. That's going to allow Walbut to really close the gap on the 355 machine. But I believe West is going to hold on to it here for the final podium spot with about a 4/10 advantage. Oh, 3/10 as Gary's going to send it through turn 12. But our final podium running order here today will be Josh Soto, Thor Tulo, and Jimothy West rounding out the podium. And that will be the first sprint of the day. Again, Soto, Tulo, West round out the top 3. Gary Walbut with a great run finishing 4th. Gareth McAllister finding himself involved in all sorts of problems. He'll finish up 5th here today as we get ready for the second sprint race of the night. Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out. And we are back for the start of the second race of this double feature. It's Josh Soto, Thor Tulo, Jimothy West, Gary Walbott, Gareth McAllister, Alex Penn, Nick Monty getting ready to go back out and do battle. Does not appear that Joseph Penn will make it out onto the grid here today, but the pace car will come in. Let's see what Tulo and Soto can do. Two very fast competitors that checked out here. And the green flag flies. The competition makes their way through turn 12. Soto and West now are going to go side by side. No, Soto's actually taking the lead. West and Tulo are going to go side by side into turn 1. Alex Penn looking up the inside line as well to make it 3 wide. Looks like so far everything's going well. And already Alex Penn starting from the back, making some big moves. It's Soto, Penn, Tulo, top 3. McAllister trying to get his nose in the mix as well. Number 25 machine, West, has cycled all the way back to 5th, getting chased by Nick Monty and Gary Walbott. Ooh, McAllister way off track there in turn 5, pushing it too wide. That's going to allow West to get some drive on to the back of that number 25 machine. Soto still out front. He's fending off well as, McAllister has problems once more. Goes very wide, and the field stacks up behind him. West, Monty, and Gary Walbott all check up heavily to get into the back, to avoid getting in the back of Gareth McAllister. That will slow down the back half of the field. As out front, it's Soto, Penn, and Tulo. Tulo hard in the draft of Alex Penn, that number 30 machine, running second on the circuit. Now we know Soto has been an absolute weapon when he gets that clean track. Let's see if the field can catch up to him. As the field doing a great job staying relatively close together here. Soto drifting it very wide into turn 1 to try and get the best drive up the hill he possibly can. Alex Penn, Thor Tulo in close pursuit here. Oh, Penn too far to the inside, coming down the S's. Tulo's gonna have even closer distance between himself and the Burton Ernie backed number 30 machine as they both run nose to tail out of turn 5. Gareth McAllister getting a little bit closer in his 25 machine as well. Tulo takes a peek to the inside line going into 6th, thinks better of it. Ooh, a little bit of lockup from Tulo. Alex Penn driving very defensively. You can see him using a little bit more curb, and that may be indicative that he's using that rear view mirror a little bit more. You see Monty going off in 7 as well. Soto stretching his legs, 2.5 seconds ahead over the rest of the field. Tulo looks up the inside line of Penn going into turn 10A. Side by side through 10B, Alex Penn coming out by about half a car length. Gareth McAllister trying to work his way into the mix as well. No! McAllister gets into Penn. Gareth McAllister, Alex Penn both have incidents once more. The podium may be handed to Jimothy West as he tries to track down Thor Tulo once more. Almost a perfect repeat of what happened in the race prior. As we now watch the battle for fourth, Nick Monty, Gary Wolbert getting ready to charge down the hill in front of the spectators here at Road Atlanta. Alex Penn, though, having the worst luck here today. As coming into today's feature, Alex Penn was the points leader. So you've got two-car battles. You've got the battle for second between Tulo and West, and then you've got Monty and Walbut battling for the fourth place spot. I believe it is Monty and Walbut's both first-time appearance here for the Spec Miata series, as well as Tulo and Soto. Some new names and faces coming out. Now, are we going to see any drivers work together? The answer is no, as Wolbut hops out of the draft to slide up alongside Monty. Gets back in it. That is going to allow, I say that, you've got West and Tulo doing the same thing up front, going side by side through 10A. Tulo gets the better drive out of 10B. Now, the more these drivers, these two-car packs battle with each other, the more it'll close the gap between them, and then you may very quickly see a four-car battle for the podium. Up front, Soto's just clicking off 35s as Tulo, West, Monty, and Wolbert are all clicking off 37s, battling with each other. Not much time separates second place Thor Tulo from fifth place Gary Walbut here. As these drivers are just really pushing these Miatas to the limit as far as they can. So let's see, West still staying tucked in the draft of Tulo. Monty has a little bit of a breathing room between him and Walbut, about 6-7 here. But that draft is very potent on this backstretch in these low horsepower machines. As we watch the battle for second, it appears West is not going to make a big lunge at it here, opting to stay behind Tulo and maybe get a bit of breathing room between himself and the battle of Monty and Walbut. Got some great racing going on here. West still on the back bumper of Tulo, but has a bit of a bobble in the first set of chicanes. That's going to allow Monty and Walbut to interject themselves into a possible podium battle. Tulo now has about a 1.6 second advantage over West in the 355 machine, and West will have his hands full here with Monty and Walbut in close pursuit. We are at the halfway mark of this second race of the night. And Monty, the newcomer in the 48 machine, sees a possible podium finish in his sights. Walbut is about a half second back from Monty, trying to pick up the draft as well. Let's see if Monty takes a shot at it here. Going into 10A, he's got the run. Oh, a bit of a wiggle from West. Wonder if he caught the grass there. Monty opting to follow West around for another lap. Could be watching some of the other drivers, seeing what their lines are and where to make moves, but no. Monty's going to send it up the inside in turn 12. A very gutsy place to pass. Grabs a little bit of curbing, pushes wide at the start-finish line, but Monty now in podium potential for the first time here of the season. West gets cycled back to fourth. Walbut in hot pursuit as well. Let's see if Monty can whittle away at the 2-second advantage that Tulo has in second. Soto in a league of his own. He's almost 10 seconds ahead of second place Thor Tulo with no sign of slowing down here. It's still a 3-car battle for third. Monty, West, Wolbert putting on a show. Monty pushes wide, come out of 6th. Let's see if that affects his drive out of turn 7. West checks up slightly to avoid tagging the bumper of that 48 machine. Nothing but respect and camaraderie out here in the Spec Miata Series, sponsored by Diamond CBD. West and Monty linked up bumper to bumper. Who's going to have the better drive out of 10B, because now Walbin wants to join the party as well to project himself up into a possible podium, if not 4th. Now these guys are not doing themselves any favors catching up to Tulo, who has stretched his gap by about 6/10, but I can tell you one thing, I guarantee they're having a lot of fun down there in those machines. Racing as hard as they can in this Spec Miata free to join series. Monty extending his gap to about 7/10 of a second. Gary Wolbert in hot pursuit of the 355 machine coming out of turn 5 into 6. It'll be interesting to see if Monty can extend that gap, or if that draft is just going to undo all the hard work he did through the tighter sections of the circuit here in Atlanta. He has a bit of a bobble come out of 7. That may allow West to capitalize here. Let's see what happens on the backstretch. Is West going to take a shot at Monty, as they once again link up nose to tail? I think they're bump drafting down the backstretch here in Atlanta. Monty sees a podium in his eyes. West wants to get back up there and battle with Tulo. Walbert just waiting for a mistake out of the 48 or the 355, with the more than 0% chance they take each other out here. And he will be gifted a podium the easy way if he can just keep it clean and keep clicking off laps. Monty leading this 3-car battle down the S's once more. It's Monty 3rd, West 4th, Walbert 5th. All 3 of these drivers still running nose to tail. As I believe these drivers should have 2 more laps left to go, maybe 1 more lap to go as they cross the line. No, 2 more. They should take it should be the lap prior to the white flag right here. So Gonna be interesting to see if Monty, West, and Wolbert are patient, or if they wait to get out all of the aggression and gutsy moves on the white flag lap. As we say that, West takes a peek to the inside line of Monty going into turn 10A and 10B, makes it happen in 10A. Monty looks like he has better drive, but the run is stalled by West coming out into turn 12. So West back in podium contention. Monty gonna try and do his best to take over that third place spot once more. But no, goes dangerously off track out of turn 12, just underneath the flag stand. Monty's gonna return the favor going into turn 1 as they go side by side. A little bit of contact and a bit of Dory. Monty, hold on to it. No, Monty gets into Walbert. Just a racing incident. Both drivers pushing extremely hard in the final laps here. So that may allow West to get the podium the easy way, as Monty and Wolbert will be several seconds back. Joshua Soto still out front with a dominant lead, almost 14.5 seconds over the rest of the field. Let's see Soto just absolutely dominant out here. Ooh, bouncing that Miata all through the bus stop. Thor Tulo still running second in that number 27 machine. Again, he's about 15 seconds back. West running third, 7.5 seconds back from Tulo. So after that late race carnage, things have gotten shaken up and spread out here today. The other close battle that we have out on the circuit is Gareth McAllister and Alex Penn battling for fifth. Penn in that number 30 machine, McAllister in the 25. Now they're surprisingly gaining a fair amount of ground on Gary Walwood here, running fourth. But the checkered flag should fly this time by as Penn puts two wheels in the grass. Hopefully doesn't slow his momentum too bad coming out of 7. And the checkered flag will fly for Joshua Soto, winning it back-to-back here at the Spec Miata Series. Alex Penn, Gareth McAllister trying to get up to Gary Wolbert and grab a last-second spot going into 10A, but I think it's just going to be too far to make it happen. Still about 7/10 back from the driver of that number 5 machine. Let's see, does McAllister try something, dipping a wheel in the grass? Alex Penn using all of the grass to hold on to a 5th place. What a race it has been. As in the feature event, it'll be Joshua Soto, Thor Tulo, Jimothy West once more grabbing the podium spots. Gary Wolbert grabs 4th. Alex Penn rounds out the top 5. On behalf of TeamGoonSquad.com and Diamond CBD, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at round 4, same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everyone.